You guys killed it. I mean, when Nicole and I loved you guys, the best part, and I'm gonna say this again, but it's just you also like to teach. You like to be very detailed, and from what we've seen in our experiences, like that's what a lot of service companies are lacking. But you did a really good job explaining and providing the reporting.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you guys did a fantastic job. Your team has been amazing and very flexible too.
Can you talk about that a little bit? How was it, like the videos, the content that we make? Because sometimes it's hard to explain to people. It's like, it's actually pretty easy when you do it the way we do it. Because for you guys, it wasn't like you had to go get a whole production and like take time off work, right? What was our process like for creating those ads that are doing so well?
I mean, I think it was fantastic. I mean, just the fact that it was very creative, because I feel like even though we had other ads where it's just like people using the products, this one in particular worked because it just hit the pain points right to the point, like from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And it was different, right? It wasn't like people felt like they were being sold right away. It just felt like, okay, there's this beautiful countryside and they're showcasing these like titles, these quotes, and then boom, then you guys use the videos of our girls that we had already recorded, and it just like hit home, right? Like it hit home because it was like something that maybe reminded them of home, and then having the two beautiful girls just showcasing and like, hey, check this out. It doesn't feel salesy. It felt very like someone would have just posted a cute video of something, and it didn't even feel like an ad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think you guys also like maximized the content that we provided you guys, mm-hmm. and made it look very cohesive. And I know obviously the first few, it took a while for us to kind of understand how you guys worked and like how our brand works. But obviously you understood it from then on, and then you just went with it and kind of came back with a lot of creative things that we would have never thought about, like this video with this content and like just using the assets that we already had created. Like if you have the content, you guys just basically know how to put it together. It's just having the content available, which we already did. So it was perfect.
And was it hard to create the content we needed? Because sometimes people are frustrated, like, oh, I've got to go make content. And then they overthink it, right? They spend all this time. Like, how was it even just with the idea of making the content?
It was easy because I think you guys gave us like what the instructions were. Like you told us exactly what we needed to do. And we went out and did it, and you guys used it right away. And the great thing about it is that we were also able to repurpose it for other things. Like you used it for the ads, we used it for the email. We even used it for like our own content for some of the videos that you guys put together. So I think it was great because you were like literally maximizing the content to the best.
Nice.
We already had that. Like we had the tools, and you just like made it better. You added the captions, you just added like the graphics, and you made the video that was just basic to something that, you know, will call someone's attention. And I think honestly the one video with the countryside, at first I was like apprehensive, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. We're not showing hair, we're not showing anything at first, but it's the best performing one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's insane. And that was like, I think the part of that is that we trust your knowledge and we trust your expertise, and we're like, yeah, let's give it a try, right? So like sometimes the one thing that you don't think is going to work ends up being the star of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's good to come from a different perspective, because obviously we're all about like, let's show this tutorial, let's show the hair, it's all about the hair. And like you guys have a different perspective when it comes from the ads. And it's like, but in reality, it's the psychology of like what you're telling people and how you're triggering their memories and all these things that we are not normally thinking about, because all we think about is like results, hair. So I think it was great because you were able to kind of combine all those things to make it the best performing piece of content. So I think that was great.
And then some people too sometimes wonder about testing. They're like, oh yeah, well, I have 2 or 3 pieces of content up there. We're like, you need a test. And they're like, oh, we are testing. We have 2. How do you feel about how much we were testing?
Yeah, that's true. You guys did test a lot, because I know we've done it before in the past and we've only done a couple. So that was great.
I think it was great because first, like you were just testing graphics, and then you started testing the copy, and then you're like, okay, let's start with this group of people. So like we wouldn't have done that, obviously. I mean, I feel like we had so many things on our hand that we're like, okay, let's just put this picture or this video that we already have and let's just try it. But we wouldn't have tested that many. So I think that's like the one part where, you know, you guys have the knowledge and the expertise, and, you know, we were glad you did that, because now you're like exactly know who our audience is and how to use it. If you don't do that testing ahead of time, then, and you start already doing heavier type of ads, then, you know, you go in saying, okay, well, this doesn't work. So I think the test really gave you more power to say, this is really going to work next time. So I think this is great.
And how did it compare to how you were testing before in terms of results, how it worked?
I mean, we didn't know. Like last time, the time that we did ads, it was just us kind of like pushing buttons kind of deal. Like it wasn't really a strategy behind it. So I think having you guys have that strategy and you kind of walk us through it, like saying, okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're just literally going to test all these pictures, these videos, a combination of this, and then moving into the next week and saying, okay, we're going to test this now. So it's just a 360 when it comes to what we would have done, right? So I think, you know, like we kind of just trusted that, you know, you guys knew the best route. So we just decided to go along and say, yeah, because what we've done really wouldn't compare.
And how does it feel? So we see the numbers and we know how it went, but how does it feel to you guys having that process done? Did it work? Did it work well? Did it not work? How does it feel? Impact on the business side? On
the business side, it's definitely proved to us that we have to invest in ads because they work, especially for the fact that our products are great, but people, obviously, you need to remind them, you need to put it out there. You need to, you know, keep growing the awareness. So I think what you guys did was amazing, because we knew we like tried ads before, but we never done it to this extent where we've done it consistently too, like the time period, the budget behind it, because we've only tried like a small budget for these things before. So I think having the expertise on the budget, the timing, the testing behind it, and then the analytics, like, okay, this is performing well, we're gonna keep running this one, we're gonna put more money behind it. So I mean, in the business side of it, it was like we were hands off. You guys were doing all the work. All we had to approve was the content and make sure everything else was aligned. But the fact that obviously you own it and like we don't have to worry about it. And then obviously we're seeing the results on the other side. Like the orders are coming in, people are interacting with the emails, people are following. We're up to almost 6,000 followers on our page. We were like, at what, like barely at 4,000, I think, when we started the app.
3,000 something.
It took us 3 years to get to 3,000. It literally took us like 3 months to get to 6,000.
Nice.
So we've gained so many followers, which obviously you hope to kind of keep growing the community. They share with other people. They ultimately become, you know, customers because they like the content that they're seeing and they want to try the product. But obviously it speeds everything up because you have all these people thinking about it. And it's like when they see the ads, they get the emails, they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should try it. It's like in my face, I need to try it. So I think that was like our main fear was we didn't think, you know, it wasn't like something that we should invest in. Like it just feels like it's maybe sometimes you're like, well, do people really believe in ads? But the way that you guys did it and like the copy and the content and how you kind of the strategy behind it, it worked. And I mean, and you guys even told us like your brand is so strong, and even hearing that, like just putting that into the ads, just, you know, it works. Like you guys have something great. And I think that also gave us like credibility as far as like, we should try this and do it the right way, and doing it that way, it definitely has paid off. So we have seen the results everywhere.
Because at the end of the day, unless you're just 24/7 trying to like learn everything, you're not going to be able to do it all. And there's just so many pieces behind a business that need to be taken care of, that having you guys was really that step that we needed to move to the next level.
And what does that next level look like? Like what results are you guys tracking to see that this is working? What metrics?
So first is obviously the volume of orders, and obviously like how fast the inventory is moving. That's like our main thing. We have seen an increase, and we have consistently hit our monthly goals on sales, because obviously we have an end number. We wanted to this year hit above 6 figures, and the rate that we're going now, we're definitely going to hit 6 figures by the end of the year. So so that's great. Meeting our monthly goals, like we have goals that we want to achieve, and obviously now you need to take away the marketing cost of it, but even doing that, we're still making more than what we were doing without paying for the ads. So that's a huge plus in our end, right? So like we're still hitting the numbers, but we're still making more than not having ads. So that just brings that sense of comfort that you could continue to improve on it even more and invest even more and move even more. So I think the better the ads perform, the cheaper it could become at one point. So I think that's the strategy, just to continue to do that. And obviously we want to partner with like wholesalers and eventually a retailer. But in order for us to do that, we need to have validation that our D2C is working. And I think that's our main goal.
Yeah, and the subscribers also on our email went up. Obviously, all the followers went up. So that's also other metrics that we're tracking as far as like the community is growing. So we know we're getting more people into the funnel, obviously, to keep, repeating, coming back for more. So that's really important for us.
The emails, I think it grew what we would have grown. Wait, didn't it grow 50%?
Yeah,
like we almost 40,000 subscribers. Started with like 2,000, right?
Yep. So subscribers have almost doubled. And again, like the followers even up, because I think we were at 3,000 in March.
Lower. I have to go back, but
something like that. And we're about to hit 6,000. So it took us 3 years to get to 3K because we started our page in 2020, and it took us like 3 or 4 months to get. Well, obviously this is from like when we started, it maybe was like 1,000 followers in like a month, which is crazy for us.
Yeah. I'm very happy with what you guys have helped us with. And, that's the reason why Nicole and I want to continue to, slowly work with you guys until we can get it even better than this, because I know we can. But I'm very happy with the results.
Yes, likewise. Totally appreciate it. There's a lot of things that we would have just never thought about. Like, why are we paying so much for these products? Is one thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? If we really want to scale, we really need to get these numbers down, and just the landing page, even just what you shared today about why are we offering the samples individually? Oh my God, so true. Why are we doing that? So yeah, totally appreciate it. We'll continue with the mentorship for now, and then see how we can continue to work together.
Love it. And I'd love to know, like, some people, the price is not cheap, right? For doing the audit, but I wonder, is it worth it? Like, what did you get out of doing this?
Yes.
The audit is totally worth it. Yes. Yeah. Like, I think, and the fact that you guys are just flexible with us and just like, let us do all this work, and then, little by little, you just engage us in like other like programs, and you have all these packages. For a small brand is totally worth it, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that you guys, is easier for you guys to fix or to know, wait, you guys are doing this wrong, or you guys need to do this. For us, it would take months or weeks to figure out, or we didn't even know, and we would just let it ride, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So it was totally worth it.
Yes, completely agreed. It was like, we needed that whole holistic view of everything. And especially implementing ads, like not knowing what you're doing, is like, your guys are offering everything that you need to be thinking about for ads. And for the first time for us doing it for the brand, I think we wanted to do it right, and doing it with a team like you guys was the right option for us and the right way to do it. So I think it's definitely worth it. We'll continue to do it because it's necessary. Like, it's something that we need to get better at. Like Cory and I, is like something that we obviously are lacking right now, is the audits and reporting for like overall for the business, because we're just going 100 miles every day and trying to solve for like the daily things. But looking at it holistically like this, with you guys going through everything, is super helpful for us. Like knowing the inventory, the insights, just everything that you guys went through. I think this is fantastic. So totally appreciate it. About a business, then I think everybody needs to do it. If you're not serious and you just want it to be a hobby, then don't invest in it. But for us, it was like, we knew right after this rebrand, like we had to make something like we had to make a change if we really wanted to see our business grow. And like, this is exactly what we needed to do at the right time. So even if we did it with our old business, I feel like it just wouldn't have worked because we didn't have everything in place. But like now we're like, this is a business. We're going to work on this business full time. It's going to pay us a salary eventually. And these are the goals. And like, we really need to take it seriously. So I think for whoever is like thinking about it and doesn't think that is necessary, it's definitely an investment that is worth it because you'll see the return. Maybe not immediately. For us, I feel like we did, but it will take a few, months maybe to catch up, but I think it was definitely worth it.
I love it. And could you speak to too, a lot of times we just, as entrepreneurs, there's so many shiny objects, so many things. Did this help at all with clarity or like with just a plan?
Yes, for sure. I mean, yeah, I think you guys gave us like the whole like blueprint of like what the next steps are. So I think that's also great for like an audit. It's like you actually give us the steps that we have to follow, but like what we have to do. It's not like, okay, here's the numbers, like you go figure it out after this. So I think that was really important, just the reporting and documentation that you provided. I think that was great. So, and that's exactly why we want to keep working with you guys through the mentorship. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, I echo too. I think there is a lot of shiny objects for entrepreneurs, things that you see, but like, you get bombarded on a daily basis too with like a lot of offers and a lot of things like that. And it's hard, but I feel like when you work with a team that looks at it, not just ads, not just emails, but on a holistic level, I think is just a huge advantage for a company, especially when you're small. At the end of the day, it's a big puzzle, right? So it's like, if everything is functioning the right way, your business is gonna grow regardless. So like, I think it's just tackling all those puzzles together in a holistic way that is the most beneficial.
Wonderful. And then do you guys have any feedback for us? Is there anything you wish that we would have done or would have done better or could have done better? That you're like, ooh, we don't feel comfortable saying this to them. I want to hear it.
You guys killed it. I mean, when Nicole and I loved you guys, the best part, and I'm going to say this again, it's going to sound repetitive, but it's just, you also like to teach. You like to be very detailed. And from what we've seen in our experiences, like that's what a lot of service companies are lacking, that they are not providing enough information, especially when the entrepreneur doesn't really know what you guys are talking about. Like, I know you guys have terms that you guys probably talk to each other, but we might not understand the terms, but you did a really good job explaining and providing the reporting. And even though the first time that I saw the report, I was a little overwhelmed, like I'll be completely honest, it felt like a lot. You walked us through it and it felt like, oh, this makes sense. It's just talking, and you guys are more than open to do that. Like, I feel like a lot of companies feel very apprehensive to like ask questions because you don't want to sound dumb or you don't want to be like, okay, but I feel like it feels really comfortable to just ask you guys questions and say, hey, what does this mean? And it's just, I mean, you guys had a bunch of videos and details, so it was easy to follow. Even the onboarding was very easy to do too.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you guys did a fantastic job. Your team has been amazing and very flexible too. Like, I know we also had very like you said, you were like very, we expect everything to be a certain way, and like we were following a lot of different things maybe that you maybe haven't done before. But I think you guys did a great job with like being really flexible with us and like listening to all the feedback that we were sharing. So definitely appreciated that too, and really easy to work with. And you guys were very responsive too. Like you were always on it. Like if there was a question or something that we wanted to fix, like it was really easy to work with you guys. So definitely appreciated the flexibility.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.